Does the sight of lush, intricately patterned leaves make your heart skip a beat? Then let us whisk you away into the mesmerizing world of Maranta plants. These botanical marvels, also known as prayer plants, are the unsung heroes of the green universe that we call home. The Maranta species are a visual feast, boasting vibrant leaves that perform a rhythmic dance by folding up as if in prayer as dusk descends. As a favorite among home gardeners, they serve as living art pieces, enhancing the aesthetic appeal of any space with the unique designs on their foliage. Maranta leucanura is an example of such beauty, flaunting stunning green leaves laced with red veins. Another variant, the Maranta leucanura Kim, never fails to attract attention with its contrasting dark green leaves and delicate pink veins. But the beauty of plants is not skin deep. They carry an intriguing history, with roots reaching back to the tropical rainforests of Brazil. So now that you've been introduced to the allure of Maranta plants, wouldn't you like to know how to care for them? Maranta plants aren't just pretty, they're also pretty easy to care for if you know how. Now let's delve into the ideal conditions to keep your Maranta healthy and vibrant. In terms of temperature, Maranta plants are like Goldilocks. They like it not too hot, not too cold, but just right. They prefer temperatures between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Too hot and they'll wilt. Too cold, and they might just give you the cold shoulder and refuse to grow. Now let's shed some light on their lighting preferences. Marantas are a bit like vampires. They're not fans of direct sunlight. Bright, indirect light is their best friend. If your Maranta gets too much direct sun, it might just throw a little plant tantrum and get scorched leaves. But too little light, and it might start fading faster than a one-hit wonder's music career. The soil for your Maranta should be well-draining and rich in organic matter. Think of it as the equivalent of a comfy, cozy bed for your plant. They don't like waterlogged soil, it gives them the heebie-jeebies. So, a good rule of thumb is to let the top inch of soil dry out between waterings. Now here's the kicker. Maranta plants love humidity. They're like that friend who always cranks up the heat and then complains when their skin gets dry. To keep your Maranta happy, consider placing a tray of water near the plant or misting it regularly. You can even talk to it if you like. It might not answer back, but who knows? It might just perk up and grow a little faster. All right, you've got the basics down, but what about watering and feeding your Maranta plant? Watering and feeding a Maranta plant isn't a guessing game, there's a science to it. Now, let's dive into the details. Maranta plants are the Goldilocks of the plant world. They like their water just right. Not too much, not too little. Overwatering can lead to root rot, while underwatering can make the leaves crispy. So how do you know when it's time to water? Simple, just check the soil. If it's dry to the touch about an inch deep, it's time to give your plant a drink. When watering your Maranta, make sure to water evenly, saturating the soil until water runs out the bottom of the pot. This ensures that the roots at the bottom get their fair share of hydration. Always use room temperature water. Cold water might shock the plant, and hot water, well, we're not making tea here. Now let's talk about feeding your Maranta. These plants are not heavy feeders, so a light touch is key. Use a balanced, water-soluble fertilizer, diluted to half the recommended strength. You only need to feed your Maranta once a month during the growing season, that's from spring to early fall. In the winter, your Maranta takes a break from growing so you can take a break from feeding it. It's like a plant hibernation. But remember, just because it's not eating doesn't mean it's not drinking. Continue to water as needed, but less frequently than during the growing season. Oh, and one more thing. If you notice a white crust on the surface of the soil or on the pot's edges, that's a sign of fertilizer buildup. In that case, give your Maranta a good flush with plain water to wash away the excess salts. So there you have it, the art and science of watering and feeding your Maranta plant. It's all about balance and observation. Watering and feeding? Check. But what about pruning and rotating your Maranta plant? That's up next, so stick around. Pruning and rotating your Maranta plant isn't just for appearance. It's crucial for their health too. As you venture into the world of Maranta care, you'll find that these plants are more than just pretty faces. They're like the divas of the plant world, requiring attention and care to keep them at their best. Now let's talk about pruning and rotating your Maranta. Pruning is more than just a cosmetic procedure for your Maranta. It's like a rejuvenating spa day for them. When you prune your Maranta, you're not just shaping it to your liking, but you're also encouraging it to grow fuller and healthier. Now, how do we prune? First, get yourself a pair of sharp, clean scissors or shears. Identify the yellow, brown, or just plain old leaves that are past their prime. Cut these off at the base, making sure not to harm any of the new growth. Remember, we're giving the plant a fresh start, not a haircut. When should you prune? Well, there's no set schedule, really. It's more about keeping an eye on your plant and understanding when it needs a little trim. Generally, Marantas are fast growers during spring and summer, so that's a good time to give them a bit of a shape-up. Now, let's move on to rotating. Why is this important? Imagine yourself stuck in one position day in, day out. Not much fun, right? The same goes for your Maranta. Rotating the plant ensures that all sides get an equal amount of light, promoting even growth. It's simple. Every time you water your Maranta, give it a quarter turn. This way, no side feels left out and your plant stays balanced. You might even catch your Maranta doing a little happy dance, so there you have it, pruning and rotating, the two-step dance to keep your Maranta in tip-top shape. Remember, these plants are divas. They like their spa days and their dance routines. You've got the knowledge, but what are the common mistakes to avoid? Let's find out in the next segment. Even the best of us can make mistakes, but with Maranta plants, it's better to avoid them. Let's dive right in and discuss some of the most common mistakes people make when caring for Maranta plants. First up is overwatering. Yes, Maranta plants like their soil to be consistently moist, but that doesn't mean they enjoy swimming. If you're giving your plant more water than it can handle, you might just be drowning it. A good rule of thumb is to let the top 1 inch of the soil dry out before watering again. Then there's the issue of sunlight. Maranta plants are a bit like vampires. They shy away from direct sunlight. Too much of it can cause their lovely leaves to scorch and their vibrant colors to fade. Instead, find a spot in your home that gets plenty of indirect light. Think of it as providing your plant with a pair of sunglasses. It can enjoy the light without getting burnt. Temperature conditions are another area where it's easy to mess up. Maranta plants are tropical by nature. They like it warm and humid, but that doesn't mean they want to live in a sauna. If the temperature in your home is consistently above 80 degrees Fahrenheit or below 60 degrees, your plant might start to feel stressed. Try to maintain a comfortable room temperature and consider using a humidifier to boost the humidity. Last but not least, let's talk about feeding. Maranta plants are not big eaters. Overfeeding can lead to salt buildup in the soil, which can damage the plant's roots. It's usually best to feed your Maranta plant once a month during the growing season, and then give it a break during the winter. Think of it this way, caring for a Maranta plant is like making a souffle. It's all about balance and precision. Too much or too little of anything and the whole thing can collapse. So avoid these mistakes and your Maranta plant will thrive. So, to keep your Maranta plant happy and healthy, remember these key points. First off, the ideal conditions. Your Maranta loves a warm, humid environment with indirect sunlight. It's like a vacation in the tropics without the need for sunscreen or a passport. Moving on to watering and feeding, remember, Maranta plants are not camels. They don't store water. So keep the soil consistently moist but not waterlogged. And feed them with a balanced liquid fertilizer every 2 weeks during the growing season. Next up, pruning and rotating. Like a good haircut, pruning helps your Maranta look its best and promotes new growth. And don't forget to rotate your plant periodically to ensure even growth. And lastly, avoid the common mistakes. Overwatering, not enough light, and neglecting humidity can turn your Maranta's tropical dream into a nightmare. Armed with this knowledge, you're ready to take on the rewarding task of caring for your Maranta plant. Happy gardening! Hey there, green thumbs! If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It's your way of telling us you'd like to see more content like this. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. We've got a whole garden of informative and fun videos about plants and gardening waiting for you. Also, if you have friends who are interested in Maranta plants or just love all things green, why not share this video with them? Sharing is caring after all. Remember, every like, share, and subscribe helps us bring more gardening tips and tricks to you. So let's grow this community together. Happy gardening and see you in the next video!